Evetech is one of SA's leading PC retailers. I've bought from them and you've most likely done the same. In 2017, I actually built an entire PC after visiting their Centurion head office and walking out with way too many things. Most important of all was the PC case that I got from them. Evetech makes their own PC cases, and the one I bought back then held up pretty well. It features 6 fans, some great tempered glass, and it was pretty easy to clean too. I actually enjoyed taking it apart and hosing the parts down with a shower head. In terms of cable management, the case also held up well. Behind the main divider, all the fans plugged into a controller which hides away most of the bulk. There's also a switch to change the color of the fans. Everyone that sees the case always asks me what brand it is and where I got it from, and for a locally made product, Evetech really outdid themselves. However, Evetech now has a new case on the market, the Evetech Hero PC gaming case, and I got my hands on one. After the awesome experience with the last case, I had high hopes for the Hero case, and my objective was review the case while transferring my entire PC from the old case to the new one. And of course, seeing this all in action is important, so you can watch the entire process right in front of you. First things first, the Evetech Hero case comes in quite a heavy and sturdy box. When opened, the case is carefully supported by 2 giant pieces of foam, and so far I'm impressed. Packaging is life to me, and Evetech made sure to keep things safe and secure during transport and delivery. We pulled the case out of the box with some struggle, may I add. Okay, let's restart. And it was covered in a sheet of clear plastic. Once removed, the beauty of the case was quite clear. On the front we have a black matte metal that covers 3/4 of the case and wraps around one side completely. The other quarter is just clear glass, which gives it enough space so you can see the RGB lights peeking out of the corner. At the bottom of the metal there's the new Evetech logo in a medal-like emblem, and I must say it's quite pretty. On the top we have the ribbed vent system with 2 giant holes for the top fans, protected by a mesh for dust collection. The 2 USB 3.0 ports, the headphone and mic ports, as well as the power switch and restart button are also on the top 2 in a sleek vertical strip. The old Evetech case that I owned had 4 USB ports on the top, and this one only has 2, so hopefully I don't run into an issue with the lack of USB ports. The right hand side of the case is full metal and it looks pretty good. The metal wraps around the front to the side with a rounded chamfer design that hits the light beautifully. On the opposite side, there's what every gamer needs in their life, a dark tempered sheet of glass with a window into your PC's internals. From this window you can see your entire inside of your PC, and while it was dark at first, I could not wait to get it lit up with all my stuff. The 6 RGB fans are clearly visible from the side, and there's a giant Evetech logo on the bottom of the casing where the power supply and bulky hard drives will be stowed away. The case is supported by 4 non-rubberized plastic feet. To be honest, I would have liked some rubber on it just for a little bit of extra grip. However, also underneath there's a dust mesh for the power supply, which can be easily removed and cleaned. So of course, I need to move everything from our one case to another. I took out my trusty old PC kit and started pulling wires out, unscrewing the motherboard and unplugging everything inside. I was a bit sad as my cable management was on point and now I was ruining everything. But you know what they say, the grass is always greener on the other side, and in this case, the other side is the Hero case. Once everything was out of the case and ready to move into the new one, I was quite amped to get it installed. I was now ready to move everything into the new case. Upon opening it up, I found a plastic bag with the RGB remote, a load of screws, the motherboard holders, and cable ties. On the one side of the case, everything gets screwed in, and on the other side, it is all hidden away as you arrange your cables to your liking. The case is a lot smaller than the older Evetech case, which I like, because it means more desk space. 4 rather large screws hold the 2 sides on, which can be unscrewed with your fingers or a screwdriver if you wish. Once open, I set the sides down to focus on creating the inner PC workings. The first thing I did was put the PSU in and screw it onto the case. There's a lot less room for the power supply in this case, which could amount to a much smaller size of the overall case. I installed the motherboard, which was mounted into the 9 silver mounts and screwed on with the screws. Both were included in the case. The motherboard did have a small gap at the back of the case where the ports are, which could be an issue for dust, but it could also just be my board, which is too small for the giant hole. I then mounted the SSD, placed the larger hard drives into the trays, which need no screws at all as they have mounts on them, and then I started the wiring. The cable management in the Evetech Hero case is great. Everything hides behind the back end of the case behind the giant metal slab. You then feed all your cables through the holes that have a rubber trim around them for extra grip. I took care to hold the rubber in place while feeding the wire in, as it often came out of the slots. My graphics card got powered, the motherboard installed, I mounted the SSD onto the side of the case and wired the power button through a tiny hole at the bottom near the power supply. Everything is neat and tidy, and the case comes with cable ties to tie everything together, so even though you don't see the wires, they are still neatly packed at the back and tied together for ease of mind. I then realized that I did not put the motherboard grates on the back of the case, and that's why there was a big gap there. I then had to take out the motherboard and put it back in. Good times. The whole process of wiring the case was easy and very similar to many that I've covered in the past. Once it was all done, it was time to turn the beast on. After 2 hours, the moment of truth was here. I turned it on, and nothing happened. It seems that those damn power switches were put in the wrong hole, so I had to open it all up again and make things right. Then, it finally worked. The Evetech Hero welcomed me with 6 awesome Rgb fans that do all sort of crazy things. The remotes allowed me to alter the animations, change the color, and activate different modes too. My favorite mode was the one that changed color depending on the sound. A simple tap on the case had the color change, and the faster the taps, the faster the color changed. It also works with music, and it's so cool to play music around it. Best of all, you can turn them off, which is a godsend compared to other fans that I've had before that were on all day and even night when I was downloading large games. The lights also work with the MSI light sync and a SUS aura, but unfortunately I didn't have the hardware to support this feature. When I do though, I will test it out. The Evetech Hero ATX case is 1,999 Rand, and for its build, quality and fans, it's great value for money. The fans alone cost you a small fortune, so it's definitely a bargain. It is smaller than my last one, which is a big plus for me, and the new Rgb fans make everything so much better. But that's all we have for this beautiful Evetech Hero case. Of course, a huge shout out goes to Evetech for sending this our way and letting us get our hands on it. If you're interested in the case, check in the description for all the necessary links or visit www.evetech.co.za. But that's all. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and until next time, farewell.